who are here with us. As I'm furnished with their names, I'll do the needful. I've equally seen the indefatigable, is that not the chairman of NOAA? Anikwekwa na-ememe one. Dotijomo mem Odem and Kembu Napoli Nekede. Please put your hands together. You can't be there. You must be here. Because we're digging it there, right? This is a very dependable body that have assisted our director, even within the period, the level of success has recorded. Part of the cleanliness of this environment, the greater part of it, or not almost, is being handled by this very great body. They pay the bills. Please put your hands together for them. That is just the best way to show support. I have not forgotten our dear students, the Vice President of Students Union, Federal Republic of Polynesia. Where is she? You're hiding. You can't be there except there is something happening there. You're among those. You're among the hosts, you know? I hope your rice and stew are with you because you must share them. Please put your hands together for her. Our students are doing well. They are wonderful. They are learning well in order to fit in within the big shoes being left by their mothers. Permit me to recognize and call to the high table, dear brother, the director or the dean of School of Engineering, Engineer Dr. Stanley Anyao. Please come to the high table. Yes, yes. Please put your hands together for our dean. The dean of the engineering, School of Engineering Tech, Engineer Stanley Anyao, the perfect gentleman. Lady on mic, you know you require special recognition because you're among those. Just have your seat. Lady Christie, again, very dependable, reliable, strong ally. The young woman that is making waves, very positive ones. Put your hands together for her. She's there, right there. Thank you very much. I recognize the SUG vice president. Doesn't mean I did not see other departmental presidents and their leaders, which senators, members of representatives, Abi, both at the school, institution level, school level, and departmental level, the EFSA, and the rest of you. Please put your hands together for them. They're all here well represented. I have seen the chairman of today's occasion. Even if he's hiding, I will know. Even without seeing his face, when he's coming, I will perceive the aura radiating from him because everything about him is good. I'm talking about the dean of the deans, the dean of School of Environmental Tech, a man with immense capacity to do good. I'm talking about Dr. Sir, because I know about the Sir. Berek Okroko, who happens to be the chairman of today. Please put your hands together as we usher him to the high table. Continue to clap because he might change his mind. I know him. I recognize also the the deputy director, Center for Gender Studies, my own lady, Dr. Megwas. You know, when I profess, it shall come to pass. Put your hands together for her. She's standing right here before me. Okay, fine. So, my chairman, please take my chairman to the center of that table. Oh, one or the other. Yes. Thank you. May I plead with us, our August visitors, that the chief executive of the institution is here with us. As a matter of respect, Onye Faze's area will all rise to usher her in, including the representative of the deputy governor of Imo State, who is also here with us. Please. So, our own, the chief host, the woman of grace, the woman within a very space of just few months has changed the fortunes of this institution. I'm talking about the rector, our own Dr. Mrs. Basilia Kim Ibokwe. With her is a representative of the deputy governor of Imo State, Dr. Lady Chinyere Kemaro, ably represented by Dr. Obi, who would do the needful. We also have the deputy rector. Dr. Linda Obu representing the deputy governor of Imo State. Thank you. We have the deputy rector administration, Dr. Friday Baja, well seated. Welcome, sir. We have the registrar of the institution, our own dear sir, Gochku Stanley Njoko. We also have the boss of the institution, our own dear Dr. Kinyara Daniel Ojuko. We also have the man that stays with the books, the librarian of the Polytechnic, Dr. Charles Obichere. We're seated. At this point, please, may we rise to take the national anthem. Quickly.
Nigeria, we have a fleet of native tribe and tongue.
If I from who beside
Nigeria, so just free fatherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace all and this we count as gain to the children, Father, we will stay. O God of all creation, when peace our war reigns, still rebuild our here no man is oppressed, and with peace and Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you. Please, while standing, let's take opening prayer right away. Dr. Julian Joko, could you please come? Very brief one.
Most Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for the privilege and honor to gather once again in your presence. We have come to celebrate the women. Father, women are the most special species you created. Thank you for a time like this to honor them. The people you use to bring life to the world. We are grateful for making us women. We want to ask that as we celebrate the women today, may you make us instruments of honor in our homes, in our workplaces, even as our leader, our rector, our lady, our mama, whom you have given us as a woman to lead this great institution. We are asking for wisdom and more direction on our Lord God Almighty, the Center for Gender Studies and the for African Women Educationalists in Nigeria. We are anchoring this occasion in collaboration with other agencies. We are asking that you come and help us, that in all we are doing will be to the good of humanity, to the glory of your name. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for Dr. Julian Jock. You know, I was afraid. It's not easy for somebody that is taught to do something that is brief. I hope you understand. At this point, permit me to most respectfully establish the protocol for today's gathering. A very special day to remember. Okay, I've been directed that there is a weighted item. So, women in technical education. Women item worldwide. So, is he ready? So, please, let's still accord the respect once again. Rector Ma, to rise and take the women anthem, please. Is it voiced? 1, 2, go.
Students have an Igbo version. When they finish saying, they sing the song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Women are working to build a better world where the love of peace can rest on every shore. Women lay down their weapons and love and share. And people want to bring an end to war. So sing a song for women everywhere. Ring around the world and never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never equality, so sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Please, while we're still standing, let's take the Igbo version.
Na mba dị iche iche ga-azụ n'ụwa niile, ụmụ nwanyị chọrọ nnwere onwe, ebe aka ekpuchi ya ọnwa na-azụchabụ nke anyị, ma kwuruzie n'ezi nhata ha unu gụpụ egwu maka ndị inyom ebe niile. Mgbanwe na-ada n'ụwa na-enweghị njede bụ n'ụgụpụ egwu maka ndị inyom ebe niile. Nrata ha ọganihu n'udo unu gụpụ egwu maka ndị inyom ebe niile. Ka mkpu na-ada n'ụwa na-enweghị njede bụ n'ụgụpụ egwu maka ndị inyom ebe niile. Nrata ha ọganihu n'udo unu gụpụ egwu maka ndị inyom ebe niile. Ka mkpu ọṅụ na-ada n'ụwa na-enweghị njede bụ unu gụpụ egwu maka ndị inyom ebe niile. Nrata ha
Thank you very much. You can do better by putting your hands together for them. Let me tell you that this Igbo version was composed by our own barrister, Dr. Ngozi Idi. You may clap some more. Thank you, ma'am.
If you didn't say that, I would have also accused her. Put your hands together. No, we'll be seated now. because I'm a money, man. Thank you very much. At this point, it's good we establish the protocol for this gathering. The chairman of today's occasion, Dr. Derek Okoronkwo, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, ably represented, already seated, the rector of our dear institution, the chief host, Dr. Basilia Ibokwe, the deputy rector, administration, Dr. Uzoma Friday Ibaja, the registrar of the institution, Sir Kinsley Gojukwu Njoko, the bossa of our dear institution, Dr. Miss Adanechi Ojuko, the librarian of the Polytechnic, Dr. Charles Obichere, the president of FIDA and the vice president of FIDA, well seated, the guest speaker, well seated, the director of Center for Gender Studies, the council member here seated, and the director of the Center of Excellence, Dr. Obini Weke. Help me to go that line. The FEPNOA president, the woman with immense capacity, Dr. Ijoma Odemena, the director of weekend program, Dr. Obino Ubiko, the dean, School of Engineering, Engineer Dr. Stanley Anyanwu, the director, Medical Services of our Polytechnic, Dr. Kejaku, the man that is synonymous with quality, the director of Academic Planning and Quality Directorates, Dr. A.C. Mado, the linking man, Mr. Linkage, the director, the career development man. Thank you. You know, I like that linkage thing. Engineer Norbert Warrior. I have seen and I've cited Dr. Nenu Goji. I've equally seen other directors here present, the deputy registrars, the SUG vice president, who is co-host, and other respected bodies that have contributed in hosting this very international day. The Christia Game Foundation, the various heads of divisions, the students, leaders at all levels, distinguished staff and students of our great institution, distinguished guests from different bodies belonging to the women folk, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Today, yes, I may have forgotten, but I will always remember the director evening program, who is the person associated with FEWEB, Dr. Julie Njoku. We are here today gathered for an important event in the life of women folk. Today we are celebrating this very special species. While the anthem was going on, I was tempted to ask God, can we do a little changing, just temporarily, not permanent, so that I can enjoy what they are enjoying. It's time the women would take their pride of place because they are doing well. If you doubt, come to Federal Polytechnic. Please put your hands together. So at this point, we will take Kola Nut, please. And permit me to call the PRO of the institution to help me anchor this session, Mr. Naike. Thank you.
Presentation of Kola Nut, the organizers of this program. Director, please come. Yeah. Please, the chairman of the occasion. Chairman, sir, the Kola Nut is before you. No, this is Federal Polytechnic in Nekede. So as the chairman of the occasion, you present the Kola on behalf of the Polytechnic, our visitors. Thank you.
Maman. Hey, agree, man. Is it because this is a women program? Eh? Neba ndewo no. Ndewo no. Ndewo no. O nwere ka ọjị a dị. Achọọ m ihe ga-eme ka anyị hapụ ịga n'ihu. So na mbido ana m ayọ onye ọbụla etu ọ sọrọ ya dịrị we have accepted the kola. Ọjị a si ndị kpọrọ anyị oku n'aka wee bịa. Anyị anabata na ọjị a ka ọ dị, ma ọ dị mma ma ọ dị njọ, anyị anabatala ya. Mana aka m dịka ọ chọrọ ịgbaji agbaji. Deputy Rector.
Sorry. Ịma ọjị ihe gbasara ọjị siri ike. Chairman na-ewetala ọjị ka anyị chọọ onye ụmụ dibịa nọ ebe a ma onye Nnekede ma onye Owerri West ma onye Owerri makwa na onye Imo steeti. O nwere onye Nnekede nọ ọhịa nwoke ọwụ nwaanyị. O nwere onye Nnekede nwoke nọ ọhịa. Nnekede. Olee the next town? Owerri West. Owerri West. Onwe onye Owerri West nọ nwoke ọwụ nwaanyị. Ee? Olee onye ahụ? Olee onye ahụ? Liberia. Ruben ya kpọrọ Owerri West. Ọ bụzi anọrọ Owerri. O nwere onye Owerri nọ ọhịa. Liberian. O ruole gị n'aka onye ịchọ ka aka m kpọọ gị. Bịa bịa were ọjị gọrọ anyị ka anyị taa ọjị. Bịawa bịama bịama ada. Were nwanne. Were otu ọjị nye ya ka ọ bụrụ.
Biko, anụla m ma Deputy Rector Administration o jụrụ m o nwere onye ụmụ dibịa nọ nga nwoke maka ọjị. Onwe onye m hụrụ wee lile aka elu ma ọ bịara nso ya ajụ ajụjụ Nnekede nwoke onye m hụrụ nwoke bịakwa jụọ Owerri West nwoke onye m hụrụ nwoke bịara maka ọjị ya ajụzi ajụjụ Owerri. Elekwala m anya ma o nwere onye Owerri North ma Owerri Municipal nwoke onwe ke m hụrụ. Charlie Obi chere onye Owerri North. So nga ahụ ka m ga-agbakwasara ụkwụ ekwu okwu gbasara ọjị igozi ya n'ihi na elezuola m anya ndị ma nwo kwesịrị ha eburu m ụzọ kwuo okwu ọjị onwekwa ka nọ nga. So metiga okwu bekee ahụ so ya wụ ikikere m nwere iji na-ajụ gụọ dị ọjị n'ihi na nwa nna ya dị ilu ochie o ji eji ụkwụ agbawa ọnụ ụzọ o nwere onye nọ ya azụ. Ụbọchị taa ụbọchị ọma ihe anyị mega ụgharị mma ọjị eweghara ọjị ọma ọjị udo ọjị nnabata ọjị ọganihu ọjị nwanne na nwanne ọjị onye hụrụ hịarị mma ya eji ibe ya ọjị ọnọdụ mmadụ na ibe ya ga-eji ma mma zuo oke. Ọjị anyị taa ya anyị ga-ata ndụ taa ahụike taa ọganihu ọ ga-arịrị anyị mma kacha ma ebe anyị arụ ọrụ ụmụ skuulu ndị gụgụ akwụkwọ nna agụ ihe ibe anyị jiri maa mma ọ ga-agbakwa anyị. Anyị kwuru bịa Federal Polytechnic Nnekede kemgbe sowo ịrụ ọrụ bekee akwụ anyị ụgwọ a ga na-akwụ anyị ụgwọ ihe ọwụla awụ ihe eti yagharị mma ma mma ebe ndị ọrụ bekee na aga na-enye anyị ya ihe ruru anyị aka anyị enwe enyekwana anyị ego anyị kwuru bịa rụọ ọrụ ya baa n'anyị uru anyị ji azụ ụmụaka anyị onwe ọganihu ma mmadụ niile na-ata ọjị oke n'ime ọjị udo na aṅụrị ezuo oke anyị na-arịọ n'aha Jizọs Kraịst wụ onye nwe anyị ya gaziela mmadụ niile.
Kọọlanụ ya aka biko.
Buko ọjị nwekwuru mela chairman were otu ọjị ka buko ka deputy ka rector n'aha management Thank you very much. Deputy Governor Buko. What for Deputy Governor? Thank you. Yagaji. Uh-huh. Okay, registrar. Okay, management. Was okay, rector. Chairman, we will. Uh-huh. Now, council, my council. Please permit me also to recognize one of the council members we sent somewhere, Dr. Chibuzo. Okay, if he's here, come and take your seat. In the name of all the deans and directors, please, Engineer Stanley, please, just help me extend to him. Okay. Do we have deputy registrars here? SUG. And we work for Nanga, Nimunu now. Yes. Evening program president, you're here? Oh, Sana, it will work here. Please, fast. Okay. Thank you. This president, asking you what you get what angry. Chairman, your opening remarks.
Director, members of management, distinguished guests, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, ably represented. I feel happy to be here for three main reasons. Number one is that it's a women affair. That's the first one that makes me a lot happy. The second one is that I live and operate in the midst of women. And the third one, as my friend had just told me, and of course, which I know very well, I like women. Well, you may be surprised the way I am speaking this morning. Three things are certain. I am aware that without women, the world will not be as good as it is today. I am not praising women, no. Mark my words, I'm saying the truth, the best I know about it. We live from woman to woman to woman. It is natural. No disputing the fact. We are born of a woman. We are raised by women. We have our wives, our sisters, our daughters. They are all women. Eventually, in the midst of all, our deputy governor is a woman. Our rector is a woman. You can see we are surrounded by women. The bossa, my own sister, is a woman. In fact, as you look up here, I am already in the midst of women. And as a Catholic, we have a prayer to the Virgin Mary that we're always blessed when we are within women and in the midst of women. So today I am blessed. But one very particular thing is missing. And what is that? A woman cannot do it alone without a man. God said so. I didn't say so. They must come together to make it happen. That's why we're here, to support them. If you had come here and there's no man here, you will think twice. This hall may not be full. So today we are praising our women. We are eulogizing them. We are happy with them. We are honoring them. And you see, the church also knows that it is important to honor women. And we're all candine. You know that one. It does not matter the church. All congregations, all segregations in the church, they are all celebrating women at one time or the other. Very soon, it will start happening. Catholic Church, Anglican Church, Presbyterian, everywhere we are celebrating women. Why? because women are so important in society. And coming here today, we are happy that we are at peace, the peace that only women bring about. Yes, when I say that, you may not understand me. Check your homes. If the woman is not with the man, if the woman decides to look elsewhere in the home is in tatters. It's just simple. It's just simple. So we need to even beg the women. Yes, beg them because women like to be begged always. So beg them. Ah, please, oh, when I say begging, I didn't say you should go and kneel down before them. You know what to do. There's something that happens in the other room. You know it. Please help the women to know that they are worth something much more than we see. And they will do better. They will do even much more. I'm happy to be here today. I don't want to waste all your time. The point is that we're here and we're going to make it happen today. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together for our chairman. While I turn the microphone, there's this song I like women sing. Me wanye na wugi he ugaga la wanyi we he want to go. Thank you very much. So we need to have a welcome address. We're going to take two, but they're very brief. Let me call on the farewell chairperson, Dr. Julie Njoku. After that, we'll now take from Center for Gender Studies. Very brief, so that in the next 30 minutes, we are done with this. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome address presented by Dr. Mrs. Juliana Joko, the Imo State Chapter Coordinator of Forum for African Women Educationalists, Nigeria, on the occasion of International Women's Day celebration. This day, 4th March 2025, the 1000 capacity auditorium. Rector Ma, members of management and principal officers, the representative of the deputy governor, the chairman of education, members of FIDA here present, members of FEPNOA, members of WITED, Christie Agame Initiative members present, Fire and Ice Forum for Justice here present, Student Union Government, EPSA students, Center for Gender Studies, our members present, Federal Polytechnic Nekede community, fellow educators, ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome. I feel delighted to stand before you today as the chapter coordinator of FAWE, Nigeria Imo State chapter, to celebrate International Women's Day. This year's theme, Accelerate Action, resonates deeply with our organization's and mission to empower girls and women through education. For the benefit of those who do not know what FAWE stands for, it is Forum for African Women Educationalists Nigeria. It is a pan-African non-governmental organization with headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya. It was established in 1992 by 5 women ministers of education within Africa to pursue the goal of empowering women through education for the purpose of achieving the Millennium Development Goal of gender equality. Presently, FAWE is in 33 African countries, including Nigeria, with headquarters in Abuja. FAWE believes that education is the key to unlocking the potential of African women and girls. For over 3 decades, FAWE has worked tirelessly to promote girls' education, challenge discriminatory practices, and advocate for policies that support gender equality. Today, as we celebrate the progress made so far, we acknowledge the work that still need to be done, especially in the areas of violence against girls and women. As educators, we have a critical role to play in accelerating action towards gender equality and ending violence against women. We must ensure that our schools are safe, inclusive, and supportive to all learners, regardless of their gender, background, and ability. Thank God we have a rector that is gender friendly. We must also challenge the stereotypes and biases that perpetuate gender inequality. We must promote positive role models and provide opportunities for girls and women to develop their leadership skills and confidence. Here in Imo State, FAWE is committed to continuing our work to empower girls and women through education. We will continue to advocate for policies and practices that support gender equality, and we will work in collaboration with the institution's goal to promote healthy mentorship and other supports for girls or to girls and women in need. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our mama, the woman of grace, whose grace passes ritual, and for supporting us and giving us an enabling environment to function. Ma, we are grateful. All our partners, donors, and supporters for your generosity and commitment to our cause. Thank you. I would also like to thank the leadership of the Center for Gender Studies, Federal Polytechnic in Nekede, led by Dr. Ngozi D, for her commitment and sacrifices. Ma, we are grateful. To FAWE members and all other sister organizations for your support to promote girls' education and challenge gender inequality. Well done. In conclusion, let us use this International Women's Day to renew our commitment to accelerating action towards gender equality at all times and in all places, even within the family circle. Let us work together to create a world where girls and women have equal access to education, employment, empowerment, opportunities, and leadership positions with boys and women counterparts. Please relax, and enjoy the enriching lectures we have packaged for you. Again, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for the foreign chairperson, Dr. Julian Joko. There is another one, very brave, from the Center for Gender Studies. That will be presented by the Deputy Director, Center for Gender Studies. But give me 1 second for a high message. They are all packaged part of the welcome address by FEPNOA, President. Please quickly come, quickly come. Quickly come. I said hi. I didn't say hello. I think hi is shorter than hello.
Thank you very much. Standing on existing protocol, I salute everyone. Rector Ma, the representative of the Deputy Governor, I salute you, Ma. Rector Ma, and all the management staff. Now, we've come here to celebrate women. The theme is Accelerate Action. Why are we having this program today? We're having this program yearly because we understand that we are still here to be accepted by the men folk. What am I talking about? Let me give some instances. When a woman is driving a car, there's a way the woman will drive. Somebody said, oh, it's a woman. And the woman drives a car very well, that the car is not dented. When a buyer wants to say, oh, it's a woman driven by a car. What am I saying? When the woman does the good part, there is complaint. When she does the bad part, there is complaint. Even the highly read are here to accept the woman in their hearts. That is why today we have come here not just to celebrate women, but to appeal to every man here. And you, the young girls, that you should not allow the society keep telling you you're a woman and suppressing you. Also, even today, I'm very glad. Personally, I'm glad that we have a female rector who is working. Because when she came in, when she was about coming in, many people were like, Ochicho Mwai, Ochicho Mwai. I tell people, you might not say anything, but just the wave of hand or a snare, you've said a lot. Many just wrote it off. But today, women are doing well. I keep asking our men, a woman that gave birth to you, nurtured you, gave birth to president, gave birth to every kind of personality in the society. Now, what made you think that this woman will not do well? Please, as we take more lectures, please let me leave one thing in the heart of every girl here, every woman here. Don't let the society suppress you that you're a woman. That you're a woman is not a mistake. That you're a woman, you have strength. That you're a woman, you have power. If you, a woman, can give birth to a child, there is nothing you cannot do. Thank you very much.
I want to believe you welcomed your guests. Put your hands together for her. Thank you very much, the Deputy Director. I see, let me plead for this issue of being very brave so that we can accommodate other programs. Please, just welcome address from Center for Gender Studies be presented by Amaka Megwas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Rector Ma, Deputy Governor's representative, Dr. Linda Obu. You're welcome, ma. Please, because of the want of time, all other protocols observed. Thank you. Please, permit me to recognize our guests, the lawyers in our midst. Please, people are welcome. Thank you for coming. Historically, in 1908, women marched on the streets of New York demanding voting rights. The suffrage went on through the events in 1909 to 1914, with arrests made on vocal women in public spaces. On the March 8, 1917, women in Russia protested poor living and labor condition in the result of the First World War. This gave rise to the historical Russian Revolution, wherein the Bolshevik and the proletariat leading to the abdication of the Tsar Nicholas I. In 1921, March 8 officially became the date for International Women's Day, set by Vladimir Lenin, first head of the Soviet Union. Therefore, the fight for women emanated from their fight for everyone in the world to have a better life, as can be seen from the lyrics of UN Women Anthem that CGS director has taken pains to translate into Igbo language and beautifully rendered by the students of Student Choir Federal Polytechnic Nekede today. In colonial Nigeria, the Aba Women's Riot involving Igbo, Ibib, Ndon, Ogun, Efik, Ijaw women against the colonial taxation of 1929 was a significant feminist movement using sit-in songs and the staging dance led by Nwanwurowa, Ikonea, Nwanedie, Nwogu, Amaogundem, Ihe ejiri emebi ibe. Many women were killed or wounded but still achieved their aim against colonial rule. In support of the movement, Madam Mercy Okeze, who was the first in his clan to receive a Western education, sent in a memo to the Aba Commission inquiry in 1930. This goes to show that African society were not taught about women's rights, but we are actively participating in worldwide research simultaneously with the rest of the world, and enlightened women, as we have here today, are propagating the message. In 1975, the United Nations sponsored International Women's Day for the first time and adopted the Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women in 1979. In 1996, annual themes were introduced for the program worldwide. The theme for this year is Accelerated Action. 1995, the Benin Platform for Action became the blueprint that created a global political agreement to advance women's rights as human rights. In 2001, the Women International Day website was launched. In a social media world, the International Women hashtag now galvanizes mass participation on the platform like TikTok and Instagram. It is interesting to note that Women International Day has been adopted in so many countries, such as Uganda, Zambia, China, Armenia, Madagascar, as an official holiday and equivalent Mother's Day. To actualize the objective of United Nations, the government organizations have formed groups, administrative machinery such as Ministry of Women Affairs in Nigeria. Gender justice in Nigeria has shown growth in law and policy. For instance, the bill to prevent, prohibit, redress and sexual harassment of students in a tertiary educational institution 2020 has been passed by National Assembly, awaiting assent landmark Supreme Court design Ukeje versus Ukeje 2014 on inheritance rights of women in Southeast Nigeria. There are, however, a clause in the works, especially with the unfortunate rejection of about 5 gender bills in 2022 at National Assembly, including affirmation action in political party administration and expansion of the scope of citizenship by registration under Nigeria's constitution. The Center for Gender Studies was set up by the Federal Polytechnic Nekede for gender justice and equity on campus by mainstreaming gender in our recruitment, appointment, procurement, admissions. The CGS strives to help the Polytechnic management maintain gender balance by taking both the males and females in cognizance. In that regard, gender disparity results for the Polytechnic will be published before April 2025. To guide affirmative action decision making where there is any shortfall for any of the sexes in services we provide. A draft gender policy that covers burning issues like gender expression, and alternative sexuality on campus is now being considered for adoption and implementations by Polytechnic management. In line with directive of the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs in Nigeria, Hajia Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, the CGS has two working committees, the Sexual Assault Response Committee and Forensic Investigation Bureau Establishment Committee, that are vehicles that will translate words to action. The Federal Polytechnic Ekede engaged the immediate economy by encouraging female entrepreneurs and contractors on campus. The CGS has embraced up to challenge to join the general public for the rector, which is to provide solutions via science and technology for the Nigerian society as citadel of higher learning. The Imo State is yet to build a viable sex offender register, and Nigerian state is expected to have a nationwide census, that the last being that of 2006, that was 19 years ago. The support of the Polytechnic to ensure accurate entry and measurable scientific evidence like DNA and fingerprint is needed. In this way, the Polytechnic seeks to partner with the government in progress. We need to accelerate action to make a nation a safer place for citizens. Please, because of want of time, I've advised to round up. We are not here to talk about the brainstorm on modalities for accelerating action or going forward in improving the process in Imo State and Nigeria on gender issues. We invite you to take the benefit of lectures we have today from our speakers and participate in discussions on this issue arise. Thank you for listening, and happy Women's Day once again. Barrister Ngozi Maureen Idi, PhD, and Mrs. Ukamaka Ngozi Megwas, Director and Deputy Director, Center for Gender Studies. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together for that welcome address, well delivered by Center for Gender Studies. Thank you very much, Amaka Megwas, the Deputy Director. At this point, we have to do the needful. This program got to start officially. And could you please come? Usher in the chief hosts at this point to do the needful.
All right. Thank you very much. At this juncture, may I please, with a standing ovation, usher in our own mother, our rector, the woman of grace, the woman that makes things happen, a jinx breaker, a woman that makes things happen, the woman of honor, a game changer, the woman that usually speaks Polytechnic lessons. May I welcome our own mother and our dear rector, Dr. Mrs. Basilia Ene Ibukwe. Welcome, man.
You may be seated, please. The deputy governor ably represented, members of management, our council representative, Dr. Obinna Iweke, our guest speaker, and of course, the FIDA presidents. I can also see the female lawyers and other NGOs. Permit me to just pause at that. And then the great Nigerian students, are they here? Greatest Nigerian students! Upon the greatest Nigerian students! Upon the can never be intimidated Nigerian students! Upon I can never take it like that Nigerian students! Upon the great Nigerian students! Really grand Nigerian students upon Ray Bochekam. You are all welcome to this year's event, the International Women's Day. It's a great one. And like the chairman of the occasion says, he said, women are very important. He said, I like women because of their importance in society. Because you know that when you give a woman one thing, she multiplies it. Just a little thing. That's why when we said that train just one child and you will have trained the world. Why do we say that? Because we know that whatever you give to a woman is double multiplication. Am I speaking to somebody? Just more sperm, and you see the whole world. Look at all of you here. How come drop, and you see multiplication, and it's everywhere. And that is a mystery about women. Give a woman small thing, the multiplications continue. And then give a woman trouble, you'll see fire. Trouble and you'll see fire. That's why they don't joke. And that's why everybody needs to be careful with women. And I don't know what this world will have been without women. Somebody said they are the spice of life. The spices, that really give color to everything that we do in this earth. So the men, I remember in those days, there was, I think it was a debating club or something. I think the topic was men and women. Which is more important? And then the men came and said that women are even useless. What's even the world? What are we even doing without, having women in their society, in this society? They say that the trouble they have in this world is caused by women. And some said, if this world is without women, it will have been a colorful place or a wonderful place. When the woman came out to now begin to ask, so if it's going to be very colorful, what are you going to enjoy? Because he said that men are even the trouble that we have. And people were like, how possible? He said, yes. Because he said, without men, the world will have still been in existence. That you don't need a man even to get multiplication. And somebody will now be asking, so how? He said, of course, you know that when you have men, just the women, just go to the sperm bank. Of course, buy as much as you need. Get fertilized. You don't need men even to have anything to do with them. You don't need to marry. He said you don't need to do this and do that. And by the time the woman finished, he said, with these few points of mine, he said, because before she said that, she said, I also want to tell you that those things that men do, because men will always say, yes, we can cook. We can even strap the baby to our back and all the rest of the bed. Can you carry them in your tummy for 9 months? You have a womb to do that. And at the end of the day, the woman now ended. Now, with these few points of man, I still want to tell you and reiterate that men are not even worthy to live on this planet Earth. But in fact, by the time By the time she finished, she was chased out to go back to her father's house. Of course, you don't set up 13, and by the time you still come back and you are not telling the husband that gave you a crown that is not worthy to live. So, and that is why women, when we talk about acceleration, let's take it easy. Because we still know that whenever we're talking about gender equality, we are not really dragging any headship with anybody. We are just the head, the neck. The men are the head. It's not in dispute and can never be in dispute. It is only a woman that knows her onions that will know how to carry that head. That neck, you know how to wind the head. You say, go to the left, and say, go to the right. And you will now know how to control your family and take care of your family. Because it is the woman that holds the family. And that is why no matter what a man does, it's a place, a man is always right. But when a woman knows her onions, I am telling you, that men, you hold them here. Just a little baby, just cool down, baby. That's the only thing they need. And you have all you need in the house. It's only when they feel, because they all have their complexes too. When they now feel that, look, it looks as if this woman is dragging this session. No, I'm not going to take it. And you say one, the best thing, no matter how good that suggestion is, they say no, it's useless. They won't take it. But when they are sure that whatever they do, it is okay, it is not to say that you don't have a voice. The voice is still there. When I did your talk, for the young girls, I don't know whether you still remember. You know what I mean? You don't drag her ship with them, but you will be on your right and insist on the right thing to be done. It is not to say that whatever they are saying, you are not going to take it. But even when you don't like what is suggested, just go home in the night and say, sweetheart, please, I don't like that. So just learn a little bit of it. So just call them your king. Those sweet, sweet names, my crown, and all the rest of them. I'm telling you, by the time you are coming back from work, that man will be washing your feet. By the time you are coming back, he says, sweetheart, have you eaten? It's not even, if I don't get my food by 6 a.m. or 6 p.m., you are in trouble. He will be the one to get your food for you and say, oh, sweetheart, you've not even eaten. Where is Angelina? Mommy has not eaten. Are you mad? The house will be on fire that mommy has not eaten. This is because this is a woman that knows how to play her parts. It's not when you begin to shout on a man that makes you a woman. It's not when you begin to shout. If you don't know, no. Agabra. You don't need to say agabra. It is when you don't understand it. What's the women equality? No. You cannot say that and we take it. I'm not going to take it. You not say, but a man will say one, you say five. And you expect wonders to happen. Nothing will happen. So let's take it as a women. We need a voice. Never just stay down and don't, raise alarm. You have women violence and you're keeping quiet. That you are molested in the home. We say a woman needs a voice. This is the excess of women equality. And that is why we insist on giving education to women. That's whatever we do what? We would say educate that woman. She will know her rights. She will know the right thing to do and at the right time. And know how to carry the family along and move on. And that is why anytime I have a little opportunity to talk to women, I will tell them, you can still be that woman that obeys the husband and still have a voice. Have a voice in the nation, have a voice in the world. We don't need to antagonize them. We only want to be side by side with the men. Not that we want to overtake. Please, men, we don't want to overtake anybody. We are just on our own, doing our own thing. So we don't want to, we don't want to do any kind of overtaking so that we can understand it. And that's why I go on to say a little bit of this. He said, today we gather to amplify the voices of women and accelerate action towards gender parity which is our team. Accelerate Action is our year's team. You say this year resolves with the fast-paced world we live in, where progress is measured in megabytes and nanoseconds. We believe that women's rights should keep pace with technological advancement as we strive towards a more equitable society. This event is made possible by the collaborative efforts of the Center for Gender Studies, the Women for African Women Educationalists in State, and other organizations, including the International Federation of Women Lawyers in State, the Office of the Vice President Students Union Government of Federal Polytechnic Nekede, Fire and Arms Forum for Justice, and Christie Agim Initiative. We have invited various women groups, including the Federal Polytechnic Women Association, Women in Technical Education, staff, students, and the general public to join us in this critical conversation. Our keynote speakers, Professor C.E. Chinweze and Dr. N.M.E.D. will share their expertise and inspire discussions on accelerating action for women's rights in Imo State and beyond. As we celebrate this International Women's Day, we acknowledge the urgency for women parity. Women are indeed in a hurry to be recognized and be given a voice. They are in a hurry for equality, and it is a collective responsibility to accelerate action towards this goal. And remember, we all need to do it together. It is not just one man affair. And that is why all hands must be on deck, whether man, woman, or whatever organization you belong to ensure that we achieve this. And of course, our goal will continue to take the glory as we do that. Thank you very much for listening.
Please, you can do better than that. Let's give a standing ovation. But thank you very much. In this journey, there's nothing to be afraid of. I also want to plead with my gender folk, the female folk, to apply psychology in this. There's something psychology tells us. The more you talk about something, the more you bring it to limelight. It continues to remain like that. But let the action speak more than these advocates. There is no one, but the two that are very important here in this world. None can exist without the other. But the fact that the more we talk about this, it appears there is a battle. I don't think there is any. Please put your hands together once again. Because it's an attitude thing. One of the problems you have with changing attitude is what they call reactance effect. People end up doing what you ask them not to do. Thank you very much. Permit me at this point to call on our special guest of honor, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, Her Excellency Lady Chinyere Kemaro, ably represented by Dr. Linda Obu, to come and present her golden message and equally inaugurate the working committee. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm so proud to be a woman. Can you say that to yourself? Don't worry, men will come to you. So you can equally say, I'm proud to be a man. Thank you. Thank you. The rector FPNO, Dr. Basilia Nkem Ibokwe, and principal staff of this institution, the council members. You can see special people here. You are all welcome. Our guest speakers too, you are all welcome. Thank you so much. This is a goodwill message from Her Excellency, Lady Chinyere Ihoma Ekomaru, PhD. Now, before I go on, I want us to know something. Tell yourself, I am a man with a womb. Someone was saying something here. He talked about strength. Now you have the womb, you have the strength, you have the ability. The understanding of this will make you outstanding. Say, I'm outstanding because I'm the man with the womb. So let's go on. Goodwill message from Her Excellency, Lady Chinyere Ihoma Ekomari, PhD, Deputy Governor, Imo State, on the International Women's Day celebration today, 4th of March, 2025, at Federal Polytechnic, Nekede, Owerri. It is my singular honor and great pleasure to bring to you warm felicitation from the government and the people of Imo State. Under the able leadership of His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, CON, GSSRS. Let me specially express my deepest appreciation to the rector of this Citadel of Learning, Dr. Basilia N. Ibokwe, the Center for Gender Studies, and all the organizers of this year's International Women's Day celebration. More so for the honor to have me as a special guest of honor in this celebration. Cognizance of this fact that International Women's Day is an event that is celebrated annually with a focus on women's rights movement and issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, violence, and abuse against girl child and women in general. The day is set aside to create awareness among women and educate them on women equality. The theme for this year's International Women's Day celebration is Accelerate Action, which calls for speedy actions and progress towards gender equality globally. We must therefore recommit ourselves to the cause of gender equality, women empowerment, and other challenges confronting women, and work together to create a society that is just, equitable, prosperous of all. I understand that the celebration will also afford women the opportunity to share their social, economic, cultural, and political contribution to the society. Women play vital roles in their homes, families, and society. And I'm honored to be part of this momentous occasion, calling for a positive advancing of women's cause and gender parity. Permit me here to state that the renewed hope agenda of the present administration in the country of His Excellency, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, has significantly reduced the gap and disparity in the appointment of women into critical and key positions in his administration. Is that right? Thank you. In Imo State, it is also worthy to note that His Excellency, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, CON, GSSRS, has shown commitment in its regard more than the previous administration in the state. His Excellency has demonstrated significant fairness in the appointment of more women in key positions in the state, with his deputy governor being a woman in his second tenure in the 3R Share Prosperity Administration. I am highly and humbly grateful for the opportunity given to women, to me in particular, by His Excellency, the Governor Senator Hope Uzodinma, to contribute to the development of our state. In addition, the administration has been strongly supportive in promoting women-based programmers and activities in the state through the First Lady's Office and Ministry of Gender and Women Affairs. As the Deputy Governor, I am proud to be part of the progress the administration has made in empowering women and promoting gender equality. Once again, I want to profoundly thank the Center for Gender Studies, Federal Polytechnic Nekede, and other partner organizations, as well as the great minds of the esteemed institution for your efforts to promoting women's rights and empowerment. Your works and other past icons deserve commendation for creating a platform that values and promotes the contribution of women. In conclusion, I would like to leave you with the words of Michelle Obama, who said, "No country can ever truly flourish if it strives the potentials of its women and deprives itself of the contribution of half of its citizens." Therefore, as a nation, let us work together to create a brighter future for our children, create a society that values and respects the contribution of women, strive to achieve a world that is just, equitable, first in all. On behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, my boss, I wish you all a successful celebration. It is with great pleasure that I officially declare the International Women's Day celebration open. Thank you and happy International Women's Day. Lady Chinyere Ekomaru, PhD, Deputy Governor, Imo State. Thank you very much. Okay. 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 Thank you. Director. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I have this privilege to stand in for my boss, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Lady Chinyere Homa Ekomare, on this special day occasioned. Oh, these wonderful people. You can turn this way. So I have this singular privilege to inaugurate you today. And now I understand that you are the CGS Working Committee by Rector FPN or Dr. Basilia and Ipokwe. So on this day, I declare you standing in the place for my boss. I declare you, or rather she declares you inaugurated. Congratulations and congratulations and congratulations. Thank you very much. Okay. On behalf of my boss again, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Lady Chinyere Homa Ekomare, I give you this hand check. Congratulations. You are inaugurated. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yes, you will do well. Congratulations. 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 You will do well. Congratulations. 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 You will do well. Congratulations. Congratulations. And congratulations. 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 And congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Equally so, we also have to congratulate Dr. Boo for doing that well. Please put your hands together. You may go back. Go and have your seats. Thank you very much. Hello? Some video. Thank you very much.
No, feeling so bad is not the answer to what I just asked you. What are you expecting now? Can you feel expect? No, do what? Killing is the kid. After killing your wife, you don't already and feel. Let this be a warning to you watching here, watching this video. It's not make believe. This is not a drama. This is a man that burned the wife. Today he's crying. So when you don't trust your anger, if possible, don't get married. Just feel. Because he knows his fate. He might be in the end, but is he going to give you opportunity to kill yourself? You can't kill yourself. You must suffer for your sin. Some things. Mhm.
My story is one of betrayal and loss, and it's only now, 5 years on, I'm ready to talk about it. Bus took me to my bus stop, just opposite my house, Bromhall Road. I don't know, something just caught my attention. I just felt like startled a little bit. I looked to the side of me. I remember seeing someone in just black. I just remember seeing black, and I remember the person's face being like covered. It was a very cold stare. Before I knew it, I just felt a huge splash. And I would just remember I immediately screamed, clenched onto my stuff. I was on the phone, running down my road, did not look.
Thank you very much. Well, that short video, well taken. Violence against women is bad. But CD, you didn't remember that video where they cut off somebody's part of the body? Please put your hands together for me. No, you won't clap for me. You know, we are watching videos now. I would have preferred that one, you know. Okay, let's leave that one. Thank you, ma. Please. Thank you very much. This is the time to hear from our professor. I think she's well on it. Please, again, just brief citation as we usher in the guest speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. Prof. Ma, please. This is the citation of Professor C.E. Chinweze. Professor C.E. Chinweze Ukeria hails from Oyi, local government area of Anambra State. She was born in Enugu, and she attended the prestigious University of Nigeria in Nsukka in 1984. He proceeded to the Nigerian Law School and was called to the bar in 1985. He bagged her PhD from the Abia State University, Uturu, in 2018 and has been a professor at law at the Imo State University, Owerri, since 2021. He has handled many postgraduate supervisions for master's and PhD candidates. Professor Chinweze Chika Ukeria is the author of over 25 publications, articles, journals, conference papers, and books centering on intellectual property, especially copyright. She has worked in many committees in Imo State University and is presently a member editorial board of both the Imo State Law Report and the Polytechnic Journal of Law, Technology and Innovation, which is an expected publication of the Federal Polytechnic Printing Press Limited in 2025. Significantly, she was a resource person in 1998 for the United States Development Program, UNDP, research on widowhood practices in 11 Nigerian states. She is a member of the Nigerian Association of Law Teachers, Nigerian Bar Association, American Intellectual Property Law Association, and the International Federation of Women's Lawyers. Ladies and gents, I present to you Professor E.C. Chinweze. Welcome.
Please, while he's ready to start, I want to announce the rector wants to take permission because they're going to have management meeting. Thank you, Prof. Please, may we accord the respect, Prof. Ma.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to stand on the existing protocol. Then I want to thank the organizers, that's the Center for Gender Studies, and all the other organizers for the opportunity to be here. I want especially to thank International Federation of Women Lawyers. If not for FIDA, I wouldn't be here. So I want especially to thank them. I'm not taking them for granted. My paper, or the topic given to me is Sex Offenders Register. Sex Offenders Register. Developing a science-driven database to curb gender-based violence in Imo State. There is a 17-page document, but we are going to look at the key points because time is fast spent. In the paper, there's an abstract which kind of captured what we are here for, and we have key words like sex offenders register, gender-based violence, science-driven database, data science, and all that. In the introduction, we mentioned that the National Demographic and Health Surveys of 2023-24 reported that 1 in 3 women experiences physical, sexual, or emotional violence. Gender-based violence is not limited to women. But today we are looking at the aspect of women because it is more prevalent, male to women, and not the other way around. So that is why most of the things we are talking about here today will be based on violence against women. Then one critical strategy for preventing and responding to gender-based violence is the establishment of what we call Sex Offenders Register, SOR. This paper we are looking at today is addressing the gap
by developing a science-driven database for Imo State, by leveraging cutting-edge technologies, data analysis, and empirical research. And then database will provide a comprehensive framework for tracking, monitoring, and managing sex offenders. As we shall see later, the essence of this register is to be able to monitor those ones who are the offenders. So we'll now look at some of the key words. Sex offense. What do we mean by sex offense? When we talk about sex offense, is defined in various ways. But the Black's Law Dictionary defines it as sexual offense as an offense involving unlawful sexual conduct, such as prostitution, indecent exposure, incest, bestiality, and then the bestiality. One, when bestiality is a oral sex, and then when you have sex with animals. And the other one talks about when an adult man will now indulge in sexual immorality with boys. The Oxford Dictionary also says that it is a crime that involves sexual intercourse and other sexual acts. Of course, the rape, abuse, and incest natural network, RAIN, talks about different names for sexual crime. Of course, we have rape. I'm sure most of you must have heard of it, rape. We have child pornography, which is prevalent now. We have so many others. And we have, in some countries, they have a separate law for marital rape. I'm sure some people will wonder, if somebody is married, how can the husband rape her? Once it is done without consent, sexual intercourse without consent, it is rape, marital rape. We are now going to look at sex offenders. Who are sex offenders? Sex offenders are those persons who commit crime involving sexual acts. These are sex offenders. And sex crimes are some of the most serious crimes in the society, because the victims of these crimes suffer lasting physical and emotional harm, even psychological harm as a result of the sex of as a result. These sex offenders, most times they face prison sentences and penalties that follow whatever they have done. And the punishments as such, they are focused on rehabilitating and preventing recidivism. That's what we mean by committing future sex crimes. So when you do that, you take the people out of circulation in order to prevent them from perpetrating the same offense. And then we have, we're looking at gender-based violence. What is gender-based violence, otherwise called GBV? This is an umbrella term for any harmful act that is perpetrated against person's will and is based on socially ascribed gender differences between male and females. Gender-based violence, such as physical sexual attack, financial abuse, including sexual harassment, human trafficking, they are all gender-based violence. Some of these things are psychological. When you keep malice with somebody, it is violence. If a man keeps malice with his wife, we have a situation where a woman was pregnant, and for 9 months the husband did not talk to her. At the end of it all, when she had her child, that baby is autistic. And of course, going through medical checkup, they now say that the woman's pain threshold was very little. You know, God did not mold us the same way. There are some people who are made different from others.
So this woman, her pain threshold was very little. And then the man who impregnated her, who brought her all the way from Nigeria to America, married her, for 9 months did not talk to her. And as a result, they have a child who is autistic. So when you don't talk to somebody, it is violence. I'm sure some of you don't know that. When a man who is married to a woman and he fails to bring money financially to empower the family, it is violence. So we're not looking at violence today, but I just wanted to let people know, have a bit of what violence is all about. So it could be physical, it could be financial. We also the we have it could be psychological, like I said, abuse of children. It could be emotional, criminal harassment, stalking. When you're stalking somebody, it is gender-based violence. It's violence. Technology-assisted violence that we have now. You know, there was this report about a boy who shot himself. After this thing happened over the internet, and he was told to trip, he did, and after that, he was now told that they were going to use it against him. That was violence, that was domestic violence against that boy. Eventually, when they said they were going to link it to so many other sites and all, this boy shot himself. So we also have honor violence, mutilation, that is genital mutilation is honor violence. There are some that is against widows. Do this. Others have been doing it for honor, for this, for that. It's also part of violence. Getting early marriage and forced marriage is also violence. We will now look at the meaning of gender. Gender, as defined by the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, is a relationship between men and women, both perpetual and material. According to them, gender issues focus on women and on the relationship between men and women. Gender relations affect household security, the family well-being, planning, production, and many aspects of life. In this paper today, the gender focus is on women because more the violence against the violence we're talking about, gender-based violence, is more against women. Is more against women. Is based more on against women. Is in the world today, it's perpetrated by men against women more. We're not saying that it's not the other way around, but it's more against women. There are certain measures that can be taken to prevent this kind of violence, like training programs for both professionals, for the young people, rehabilitation programs for perpetrators, campaign to raise awareness, promote women empowerment. If you empower the women, they will know that, and they are also bringing something to the table in the family. It will help to curb gender violence. Involve the men and the boys. When you're talking about gender violence, involve the men and the boys. Let them also come and hear. And then when you're talking to the women, they should also take it home, because we are the ones who raise these men. Women raise the men. We're also the ones who raise these boys. Most times in families, you prepare girls for marriage. Girls don't do this. Girls don't do that. You know you're going to get married. You have to learn to cook. You have to learn to do that. When you finish preparing the girl, who is she going to marry? That person she's going to marry, has the person been prepared by his own mother? You will now prepare your girl child
train the girl, prepare the girl child, and then release the girl child to a beast in the form of a boy to marry her. So we should also, as we are doing this, we should also train the boys too and let them appreciate what it's all about. We also do education in non-violence and equality between women and men. Also, we will also challenge gender stereotypes. These are the things we'll do in order to curb gender violence. We'll now look at data science briefly. Data science is an interdisciplinary academic field which uses statistics, scientific computing, scientific methods and processing, scientific visualization in order to achieve a goal. Data science is a concept to unify statistics, data analysis, informations. So when you get all these things, collate all of them, you now use data science to look at them and then find out which way forward. Then database, on the other hand, is a simple, easy to use electronic-based reporting template, which serves as a community loop between service providers. These service providers, that we shall see later, are some non-governmental organizations who try to, take in these crime victims of sexual crime, and then try to rehabilitate them and also cancel them. These are the people who, and the providers. Then the public those will be involved. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, that is NAPTIV, and then security agencies. These are the people who this database is made for. So the service provider, they have their register, which is a collection of governmental, non-governmental, faith-based, voluntary and charitable organizations, institutions that give shelter to most of these people who get involved in sexual violence. They also provide counseling, legal representation, financial, vocational education, psycho and social, also medical and assistance to the victims and survivors. This sexual violence, some people don't survive it. Like the lady that was born, she didn't survive it. Some survive it. So you need to counsel them. Look at that lady, look at her face. She needs counseling in order to face the world after what was done to her. Sexual-related violence is captured in the VAP Act. That is Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2025, 2015. That is in Nigeria. And in Imo State, we have the VAP law of 2021. In section 57 of that law, it took care of the officers, that is the sex offenders, both the register and then the people who take care of them. We'll now look at sex offenders register, which is the topic. Our topic today talks about sex offenders register and the need to have a science-driven database for that register. Sex offenders register is a documentation of reported, arraigned, when we talk about arraigned, people who have been charged to court or convicted cases of sex offenders. Offenders who violate, abuse others as defined in the VAP Act of 2025 and then the Imo State VAP law of 2021. The register is accessible to members of the public security agencies. It is a data of those convicted available directly on the website, and while other categories such as reported, assigned or tried but not convicted can be assessed based on demand. Any conduct in Nigeria which violates, humiliates,
degrades the sexual integrity of any person is termed sexual abuse or violation. This includes sexual assault, exploitation and harassment and intimidation. In Nigeria, these crimes that are put on the sexual offenders list mainly are sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, indecency with a child, possession and promotion of child pornography, online solicitation of sexual performance by a child, and continuous sexual abuse of a child or children. Because of the way our society is going and the way they view sex crimes, sex offenders register will impact on offenders for the rest of their lives. Because when your name is in the register and it's for life, it will impact on you. Many sex offenders require the convicted person to register as a sex offender, sometimes for the rest of their lives. Like I said, I now looked at the comparative analysis of the sex offenders register in Nigeria and what obtains in California, United States of America. Why I used California, United States of America, was that it was the first state that this sex offenders register was put in place in America. Sex crimes are universal plague, causing grave anxiety and provoking social unrest over the world. The issue of sexual offense is an aspect of law that has thus occasioned serious agitation in the world today. This menace has continued to ravage Nigeria and the world despite the enactment of several proscribing sexual offenses with steep penalties. We have the penal code in the north, the criminal code in the west, including here. We have the Same-Sex Prohibition Act of 2013, the Trafficking in Person Prohibition and Enforcement and Administration Act of 2015. We have the Child's Rights Act of 2003, and recently, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, VAP Act of 2015, and then the Imo State version of 2021, which imposes steep penalties and requires the registration of the sexual offenders. Now, the question is, with all these laws, have we made any headway? We're now going to look at the comparative analysis of what happens in California. A sexual offense we have defined before, and then we don't need to define it again. But we should remember that he has rape, all kinds of sexual assault, and all. So we're not going to define it again. But in 1947 in California, they became the first state in the United States to have a sexual offenders registration system. The California Sex Offenders Registration Act, which is still part of their Penal Code 2020, is the current law now in California. It categorizes sexual offenses according to the severity of the crime. So it's not like in Nigeria where everybody is grouped the same. No. There, depending on the severity of the offense, depending on what the person had done, they had the 3-tier sex offenders registration. The first tier, the second, and the third. And in the first one, offenders are convicted of the sexual offense, the tier 1. Then their registration is for 10 years. After 10 years, if you have good probation, and they notice that you have turned a new leaf, they remove your name. In the second tier, is for 20 years, depending on what the person has done. And the third tier is now for life. Is now for life, depending on the enormity of the sexual offense. The Nigerian system of registration, sexual offenders, is outlined in the VAP Act. However,
He has been criticized for lacking the necessary details. Our act is not detailed. The act did not specify the because in the US Act, you put the names of the person, aliases. See, the person is alias so and so, all the other names the person bore, then you have their photograph, the addresses, then the offenses they committed, the year of conviction and all that. But it is not so with our own registration system. There are also no reporting of registration requirements for offenders, and there are no restrictions on the activities after release. But in California, there's restriction on their activities after release. They keep monitoring them. They keep monitoring them to make sure that they don't turn back and then start committing the offense again. But also in California, they have a more comprehensive law that provides these details. Unlike in Nigeria, when we don't have these details. Again, from the above, it could be seen that our regulatory law, which empowers this registry or sex offenders registration, is not as effective as it should be. Details like we have mentioned before, registration details, reporting requirements, how frequently the person should report to the authorities, restriction is not there. They have free access. They just register them and they keep roving from one place to the other. Now we're going to look at the Imo State because we are told to get a science-driven database to curb gender violence in Imo State. We have looked at the keywords. We have looked at all what these things are, and then the science-driven database, what it is all about. Now we're going to look at in what obtains in Imo State, and then we'll know whether they have done well or they have not done well. Before we start, we'll look at it again later. It is pertinent to mention that Imo State does not have the sex registration register. There is none in Imo State. So let us just establish that. I had hoped that the deputy governor will be here so that she will whisper to the governor to make sure that these things are put in place. The VAP Act of the VAP law of Imo State they passed it in 2021. Up till now, there is no register, sex offenders register. But in the paper, I tried to look at science-driven database. In case they now set up the sex offenders register, what will help us to improve on it? Now, I'm sure all of you know about a place called 4040 in Imo State. If you go there in the evenings, you see young women who obviously have no business there. They have no mission. They will just be walking about there in the night. Most of them half nude. Presumably, they are the ones who patronize the hotels there. Sometimes they stay across the road to the hotels. If we are looking at database, you remember the VAP law talks about prostitution as a sexual offense. So if only the powers that be will move in there, send maybe security operatives who will come in there, collect data of these people. You don't need to arrest them. All you need to do, may I see your identification? We all have NIN, and then when you go to the bank, you have BVN. If I want to open an account in another bank, once I provide my BVN, it will show they have data
for it. It is through artificial intelligence and the scientific driven database. So if you are able to do this, get the security agents, visit there. Every night they'll go in there. Can I see your ID? They don't need to arrest anybody. You snap the ID and you move away. You go there the next day. You go there the third day. By the fourth day, those people will disappear. They will disappear. And then when you collect these data, you now use artificial intelligence and then the computer to analyze, to know how these people frequent that place and what happens. It will help the government to have a data of such people and help curb this GBV, that is the gender-based violence. Because the fear of documentation will be a deterrent to these people. Again, we prefer that, first of all, let me also mention that I'm sure you people have seen it trending when some armed robbers from the Quarry prison came out to steal. They were operating from the prison. If not for the active efficiency of one police officer, they would not have been caught. Probably it would be like all other crimes in Nigeria, unsolved. So I am sure that most of these police officers, the security officers, if they really want to work, they will work. We also say that they should have a bureau of statistics to analyze the data and give information to the nation and the state involved as to whether gender-based violence is increasing or decreasing. Just like when you go to hospitals, most hospitals have gone digital. In FMC now, you don't carry all these cards anymore. Most of the things they do is now digital. So if they can keep records of deaths, causes of deaths, there should also be a statistics to provide information to the nation as to the killing rates of this gender-based violence. How many people were involved in gender-based violence to this year? How many people were convicted? How many people are still undergoing the trial and all? This gender-based, the register usually is done hand in hand with the register of the service providers. But the service providers also keep these people. Because they keep these people, they have these people, they know who and who have been sexually abused. That way, they also link it to the abusers. The judiciary, Imo State, the Ministry of Justice and the police should be encouraged to have statistics of those and data analysis in their own department. They should have data analysis in their own department. Likewise, they'll be able to tell us the crime rate, and then as it concerns other crimes, apart from gender-based violence. Now, coming back to what I said about the Imo State not having a register. The Imo State law of 2021, the VAP law, Section 55, made provision for a regulatory body known as Imo State Agency for Prohibition of Violence Against Persons, otherwise known as the agency. But like I mentioned earlier, up till 4 years now, the agency is yet to be set up, unlike some other states who have done so, other states in the federation. And this is a big setback to implementation of this law. This law is there, but implementation zero. That same act in section 71 charged the agency to make recommendation to the governor for the action plan on violence against persons and other related matters provided under the law. They are to advise governor on policy. They are to monitor
supervise, formulate, provide general policy and all that. They are to prosecute offenders. That's the agency. They are to liaise with the government agencies, service providers, and all those. In section 57, 1N and M, that is where they are to provide register. They are to register accredited service providers. They are to keep register of the service providers. They are to keep register of sexual offenders. So now tell me, that's the question I'm leaving with you people. When there's no agency, how are we supposed to do these things? The government is supposed to set up this agency. They have not done that. And the agency is supposed to do all these things, and there's no agency. How are we supposed to curb gender-based violence? The agency is supposed to provide shelter for these crime victims. They are supposed to train the judiciary, train officers, train people. They are also supposed to support by funds. And the Imo State House of Assembly is supposed to put them in their budget. But there's no agency. So what in rounding up, we say that provisions of this act is laudable. But without implementation, it is difficult to achieve the aim and objectives of the act. The agency, according to the act, is a corporate body which can be sued or be sued. I must commend legal officers in the Ministry of Justice, Department of Public Prosecution, DPP. They have been doing so well. They have done marvelously well in prosecuting these cases under these acts and securing convictions. A lot of cases are still pending, but without the agency, all their efforts will not be felt. The donor agencies cannot deal with people in the Ministry of Justice one by one, one-on-one. They deal with the agency. So there's no funding. People who have helped, both foreign and local, they cannot fund the people in the Ministry of Justice. So in conclusion, we haven't analyzed all those things. We concluded by saying that the gender-based violence in Nigeria and Imo State, that the law does exist, but the problem is implementation. That the law recommended for establishment of sex offenders register as provided in the Imo State VAP law, section 5710. But because there is no agency, it is difficult to have a sex offenders register, talk less developing a science-driven data base for such offenders. That so long as the Imo State government is insensitive to the implementation of the law, it will be difficult to monitor, track, and catalog convicted sex offenders in Imo State. That the sex offenders register in California, USA is better organized than in Nigeria. And then we recommend that as a matter of urgency, the Imo State government should establish Imo State Agency for Prohibition of Violence Against Persons. Secondly, that the agency should immediately, it is established, set up without delay a sex offenders register to monitor sex offenders and also put in place a science-driven database as discussed in the paper to help curb menace of the gender-based violence. That the sex offenders register should be modeled in line with the California model. Lastly, that the regulatory institutions in Nigeria and Imo State in particular have limited powers to implement the global intent and aim of sexual offenders registration. We also recommend that the VAP Act and Imo State law should be amended, or Sexual Offender Registration Act be enacted to make adequate provision on the registrable offenses. Thank you for listening.
God bless you all.
You can do better than what you're doing now. Thank you very much, Prof. That's a beautiful one. And I hope the Imo State government will take this into cognizance and make sure they establish one in Imo State. Another round of applause for profs. Chairman, sir, permit me to call on the office of the vice president for a very short drama. As soon as they take more time, we'll cut it off. Chairman, sir. So, okay, thank you. Office of the vice president, are you ready? You just have 4 minutes to go and
Why are you crying? Like, why? Hmm? Why are you crying? You like talk, nobody go believe you, guy. No. Yes.
Ewo, hey, Prince Samson nwa Agute. Onye makwa na ebe ọ gara na? Who knows? Ezi m. Ewo.
Mama, Mama, oh, something happened. Mama Tunde raped me. Mama,
Come on, go pack us up.
oh my goodness. Tunde,
Do you know the depth of what you are saying? Tunde raped you. Tunde is like a son to me. He cannot try that. Promises name you will part the picture. Okay, because it's upon you. Ah, Tunde raped you.
Ada, my friend, how are you? I didn't see you in school today. What's the problem?
I'm tired.
You're tired of what? Talk to me.
Tunde raped me.
That bastard!
Yes.
Have you told your mother?
Mm.
So what did she say?
She said we should keep quiet.
Ada, keeping quiet. Silence is what makes men like Tunde get away with this. Don't worry, Ada. We are in together. Do you hear me? Let's go. Sorry, Ada. Sorry.
Something is happening. This case. I greet you. A rape case in our community. It's okay. Calm down. In this our community. No. No. Nende wo. If I go Monday wo. Please. Monday wo. Welcome back. Don't back.
Ada has something to say.
Say it. Stop.
Tunde raped me.
Hey! What are you saying?
You all heard that. Won't you do anything?
There is no evidence now. Evidence.
I was her once, silenced, and I carried the pains for 50 years.
Ada, what proofs do you have?
So her words are not enough, but his denial is.
This is Officer Femi. Ada, I've heard you, and the law is on your side.
I want to fight. I want justice. No, I don't want. I'm sorry. I should have believed you. Oh, Chineke, arụọla m arụrụ. It's not too late, Mama.
Sunday, this is Officer Femi. You are under arrest.
To every girl, to every woman, your pains is real. Your voice is powerful. For too long, we've been told to be silent. No more. Stay matters. Believe your daughters. To the men, be better. And to the society, stop protecting monsters. Today, I stand unbroken. Today, we break the silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Today you've broken the silence. So speak out. Whenever you see anything bad, speak out. Thank you very much. Another round of applause for them. May our daughters not be raped. May we not be raped as well. All right, without wasting much time, we'll call on the second speaker. The second speaker is somebody we know too well. She is the director, Center for Gender Studies, talking about Dr. or Barrister Ngozi Idi. You can do better with some clap. Thank you, ma. Let me get the podium closer.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, standing or adopting the existing protocol, I am here to present the public lecture titled Female to Female Violence in Nigeria, unveiling the other perpetrator under the Violence Against Persons Act 2015. All the while that we have been here, it seems as if it is just the men who can be guilty under the Violence Against Persons Act. It is not true. There is another perpetrator, and that perpetrator is our fellow women. We have to wake up, protect ourselves so that these people don't gang up against us. If a house is divided, how can it stand? If the women are perpetrators of violence against other women, then of course the men will be laughing at us when we're doing our best to get justice under the Violence Against Persons Act. I have the abstract, which has started by saying that the violence by women against other women is a fact that is underreported, under-litigated, and understudied in Nigeria. In fact, women can be the perpetrators of violence against men. I invite the ICT Directorate to give us a short video of what a woman can do to a man. And under the Violence Against Persons Act, a woman is a person that can be convicted. You can be convicted for violence against that man. Let us have a video rendition of...
You see, whenever I watch this video, I feel this pity for men. See. I feel this pity for men. Men go through a lot of money, especially when you're a responsible man. Who would believe that a woman would behave like this? Look at that. I know what? Young boys out there who are not married, single guys. Do you know they don't believe that a woman can kill or hurt a fly? If you're not married, you won't understand. Now look at that. What if she had hit him on his head? If not for this camera, who would believe this man came out to narrate this story? He's even taking the book. to make sure that it is locked so that the guy cannot escape. It's a woman. If out of annoyance, he now decided to like push her, maybe out of defense, like now hit herself, and then goes down with that same pool, and the pool hurts her. This same, I don't want to say anything because of Uncle Mark, but look at her. You go out there and implicate him.
Yes, we will stop there at that video. Because of our time, I'm just going to talk to this paper. Down to what female to female violence is. Now, female to female violence is a form of gender based violence. It's also known as women's violence against other women. They are acts that are physical, emotional, psychological, or verbal aggression perpetrated by one woman against another. And in this paper, we have established that females in Nigeria could be guilty of offenses against other women, including murder, assault, abandonment, political violence, sexual offenses. Yes, women can sexually assault other women, harmful traditional practices, etc. We're going to start with murder. And again, I'll call on the ICT Directorate to give us one picture. Sometime last month, Imo State was agog about a woman in Imo State that beat the housemaid to death. She was watching the television with the children and got a fatal blow, and the child was dead. That is how a woman can kill another woman. A female can kill another female. Are we on?
Thank you.
Now, murder is defined in section 316 of the Criminal Code. We have a lot of people that are not lawyers here. We want the lecture to be very, very interesting. By the time we open our phones, we get alerts of the lectures, first of Professor C. Chinweze, and also my lecture. You will get it, you read it in full. For the purposes of murder, I would like to bring up to us the sensational case. It was sensational on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. Federal Republic of Nigeria versus Dr. Anuwu Polapo Fimilao Adepoju. Now, this lady, for a lot of girls that are on Instagram, was the CEO of MedContour. MedContour was a popular clinic in Lagos for plastic surgery. So a lot of people were going there for their breast augmentation. They were going for their tummy tuck, facelift, and BBL. It turned out that Dr. Adepoju was not qualified and was operating on many patients. And immediately, in fact, some of the surgeries were streamed live on the Instagram. And after a while, you see a lot of people having a lot of problems. She was actually arrested while the matter was going on, unfortunately. In circumstances I cannot state here, Dr. Anikulapo died. There are other examples where a house help will murder the employer, or the employer would murder people that are also in the house. What about an assault? Now, section 252 of the Criminal Code states that a person who strikes, touches, moves, or otherwise applies force of any kind to any other person, directly or indirectly, without his consent, or if the consent is obtained by fraud or threats to apply the force, you have committed an offense. Now, under the Violence Against Persons Act, you can assault somebody with a dangerous weapon. There are different types of dangerous weapons: guns, knives, sticks, whips. Somebody has stated, Dr. Nayoraya said somebody's body part was cut off. There was a time somebody's body part was cut off, and the woman told us that that body part was a dangerous weapon. Assault can also be by substance attack. We have seen the picture of a video of somebody who had an acid attack. That acid attack was done by her best friend. We didn't watch it too long. Stealthily following her on the streets of London to pour acid on her so that she would not be as beautiful as she should be. an important case handled by my president, FIDA, International Federation of Women Lawyers, of which I am a member, where a woman was assaulted by another woman who felt she snatched the husband. Not only was the assault orchestrated by this person, she brought individuals to tape this assault and broadcast it all over Nigeria. Many of you have seen this video. ICT director, many of you have seen this video. This is how a woman can assault another woman. The next type of violence that could be perpetrated by a female against another female is domestic violence and abuse. We saw a video where the man in Anambra State burned his wife to death. Now, there are other instances where the woman could be the aggressor for domestic violence. I would like us to look at Section 46 of the VAP Act, which defines a domestic relationship. You can find yourself either being the perpetrator or a victim of domestic violence if you are in a domestic relationship. Now, if you are married to another person, you're in a domestic relationship, you live or have lived together in a relationship in the nature of marriage, although you are not married to another. You are parents of a child or children who are the persons, or a person has parental responsibility for another child. Family members that are related by consanguinity, affinity, or adoption. Now, this is the one that is not related to any man at all. Your child, your sister, your cousin, the adoptee in your house that you brutalize, this is domestic violence, and you're a woman. There are, or we're in an engagement, dating, greatest Nigerian student, and then dating Nigerian student. My boyfriend, my girlfriend, Nigerian student. Now, if the boyfriend brutalizes you, you are in a domestic relationship, and that's domestic violence. That is why we have the Center for Gender Studies. A committee, two committees were just inaugurated. Sexual Assault Response Committee for the Federal Polytechnic and the Forensic Investigations Bureau Establishment Unit. PROFSA, the director of the Polytechnic, has set up the Bureau, Forensic Investigative Bureau Establishment Committee and the Sexual Assault Response Committee. We are going to do some work to help the Commissioner for Women Affairs to set up that Sexual Offenders Registrar. We have what it takes in the Polytechnic to do the statistics and load it up. We have departments here that can help do our best to develop DNA science fingerprinting in Imo State. That is why what Citadels of Learning do to support the government. Now, the last type of domestic relationship is that if you share or recently share the same residence, I bolded this. It means that if we are students living in the same hostel room, we are in a domestic relationship because we are living in the same room and you beat me. You can be arrested and charged and convicted for domestic violence. It is interesting to note that under the customary milieu, we have situations where a woman purports to marry another woman. The husband is late, post-marriage. They don't have a male child in the family. The woman marries another person. Now, this marriage, according to the Supreme Court evidence in Meribel and Egood, is an invalid marriage because marriage is between a man and a woman. And again, the Same Sex Marriage Prohibition Act of 2013 says that you cannot have marriage between persons of the same gender. But we still find some people in that domestic relationship. Even if we don't call it a marriage, it is a domestic relationship where the senior wife that married the junior wife, they are living together, at least in a domestic relationship. Do you know that one of them can be abusing the other? And they definitely would be arrested for such. Other forms of violence or abuse could be physical, emotional, verbal, psychological, forced financial dependence, and forced eviction. Another perpetrator of female to female violence is somebody who abandons women, children, and other persons. My husband left me. My husband left me. It's domestic violence. On the other hand, you left your husband, you left your children. It is domestic violence. You know, we need to know this. Political violence. Women leader, the West. You go and galvanize action. When we come, you snatch the ballot box, you beat us up, you throw away. You are even stronger than the thugs. That is an offense for which you can be convicted under the Violence Against Persons. Damage to property. We gang up, destroy the market front or the shop front of somebody or any other thing. It can also bring us to book. Harassment. Now, this is important. It includes stalking and online bullying. I have seen it here with students of the Federal Polytechnic Nekede. You serially stalk and follow somebody online. You label the person. They call it haggling. You become a troll online. In fact, you recruit people. Agana page. You are a perpetrator. And it's worse when that is against a fellow woman. We have the case of Nwakeko Blessing, Commissioner of Police versus Nwakeko Blessing. This is a recent case where a popular Nollywood actress, Eniola Badmus, you know her, she stepped to the plate. She got tired of what people were writing there. Eniola Fatmos, that was what they were calling her, because she was a plus-sized person. So she had to go to the police, and the police serially followed this Nwakeko Blessing. All the things she was writing there, it turned out that Nwakego Blessing would go to the inbox of Eniola Badmus and try to extort her. Pay me some money so that I will not tell people to be writing. And they were able to get her. When they got her, she said she needed money for her rent. And that is why she was stalking someone. So it is a form of violence against person. A special one would be sexual harassment. This is of interest to us in the Polytechnic, where the students may be affected by sexual harassment by lecturers and other staff of the Polytechnic. It doesn't need to be a lecturer. Somebody has whispered to me that there was a lesbian sexual harassment matter in this school where a female lecturer was disturbing a female student. We are looking into that matter to know the veracity of that claim. What I'm trying to tell you is that it is possible for a woman to sexually harass another woman. It is important for you to know that there is an important case of Dr. Ndifon of the Faculty of Law and Calabar. If the school refuses to act in a sexual harassment matter, ICPC, EFCC can take up the matter now. Recently, we had the case of Senator Natasha Akpoti Udoaha versus the Senator Godswill Akpabio, where the claimant is filed a 100 billion lawsuit against Akpabio for emotional distress and reputational harm caused by sexual harassment. So this morning, we were preparing for this lecture. We got the information on the news that the senator has apologized. So we believe that this case will soon be withdrawn. Another form is the harmful traditional practices. I'm not going to harp on widowhood practice. Whenever we come for women issues, there's a lot of issues on widowhood practices, so we know them. I'm going to look at other ones. Denial of inheritance of succession rights is a harmful traditional practice. We are happy with the Supreme Court decision in Ukeje and Ukeje, which has affirmed the right of women in Southeast Nigeria to be involved in the estate of their late father. Female genital mutilation, you will not believe it, that as at March 2025, people are cutting off the clitoris, the labia minora, the labia minora of a woman
believing, oh, it will make her to be. There is no need for you to have any form of female genital mutilization or circumcision. Forced marriage is a traditional, it's a harmful practice. Forced isolation. And we look at this. You have a maid in your house, or got a holiday 5 years. You don't allow her to use a phone. Or now on a phone. You are isolating her from her family. That is violence. You are not beating the person. That individual needs this psychological whatever it is by having association with people that are close to her. A surrogate marriage is another form of harmful practice where a man is presented with another woman by the families of his deceased wife. Your wife will die, but he will sure go. Okogo. We don't want to lose the ogo. We present the junior sister. Even don't pay another price first. The marriage is still subsisting. Sometimes you don't even ask the lady whether she's interested or not. That is a harmful practice. Surrogate marriage. Another one is Nricha. What is Nricha? It is a process in Igbo land where a lady is forced to stay back in her father's house unmarried to produce children, especially of the male gender, in order to promote the family lineage. So you do not force them to do that. Sexual offenses. The first lecturer has done a lot on sexual offenses. A sexual offense can be abuse, it can be assault, it can be coercion, compulsion, I forced you. It can be intimidation, it can be incest. I want to harp on incest. Owerri West, there was when I call it some data analysis on Owerri West, that there's a lot of incestuous relationship. Ihuagwa, naked the axis, father, daughter, uncle, cousin, this, that. We need to fight against that because it is a sexual abuse of a child. Sometimes they don't even know that is wrong because they started at a very young age. Indecent exposure. Nigerian students, you can be convicted for violence against another person for indecent exposure. Another form of indecent exposure would be taping somebody without consent. The boys are here. You go and put a tape in the female bathroom so that we can raise it up. That's not allowed. Funny enough, a girl can do that too, so that they can go and post it online. If you don't give me 500,000 naira, I will post your video. I will share that, all that. It is indecent exposure and trafficking. I'm not going to talk much about trafficking. I'm going to dive straight to kidnapping. Accessories or supporters of kidnapping are women. You enter Bosimo, she is the one that is seated there to make you comfortable so that you come in and the people will catch you. Sometimes you are in the kidnappers den. The woman is the one. When my uncle was kidnapped, one of them was bringing medical supplies to clean up the women that were raped in the kidnappers den. In other words, she's supporting those kidnappers. So a woman, most of the time, most of the cases we have here are women kidnapping little children. If your children go too early or too late from crèche, nursery, primary school, they may be at risk. Abuse of vulnerable persons under the Violence Against Persons Act. A vulnerable person means women, children, persons living under extreme poverty, persons with disabilities, sick, elderly, and minorities. Without a doubt, the people that take care of elderly people in the families are women, most of the time. That means that they have a high propensity for abusing the elderly. You hate your mother-in-law, and she's now old and demented. You put your children's shit in her mouth. It happens. Your father-in-law is ill, and you beat her. What about minority groups? This one is for the Nigerian students.
A good example of a minority group is a sexual minority. There is a gender policy for the Federal Polytechnic Nekede. What if we have a student in the Polytechnic that looks like Bobrisky? What are we going to do? Are we going to beat him, her up? According to the Yoga Kata Principles of 2006 for the protection of sexual minorities, it has not yet been adopted by the United Nations. But in this school, we are going to protect the rights of people that are trans, looking like they are cross-dressing, whatever. Because we still want them to go to school. You don't beat somebody up. By force, give their lipstick none. Huh? So that is a form of abuse. An environmental offense. Mr. Chairman will like this, being the Dean of the School of Environmental and Design Technology. This one is an offense against the whole world. When you do anything to affect the Nigerian environment, it is a form of violence because the rest of us will be affected by it. In the hostels, how do you dispose of your sanitary towels? Are they clogging the pipes? Ask yourself, are you doing anything to prevent this environment to be enjoyed by the coming generations? The Maastricht Principles of 2023 on the human rights of future generations recognizes that every state, including the Federal Polytechnic Negete, must impose reasonable restrictions on the activities that threaten the human rights of future generations. Now, the last I'm going to look at is attempt. Aiding, inciting, abetting, counseling, receiving. In other words, just being accessory. This is the major one. Women just assist the men in commission of crime. Most time, being an accessory is when they have some form of loyalty or relationship with that man. I'm going to look at the case of Espata MS. It's a South African case in 2022. Students are now approached for illegal surrogacy. Listen very well. Illegal organ harvesting of gametes, egg donation for IVF, which is not properly regulated. Now, this person was convicted in South Africa, Espata MS, for coming to apply to have the IVF procedure approved by the High Court when the woman was already 7 weeks pregnant, 7 months pregnant. So we must have something in place in Imo State to protect the girls because it's a form of violence. For those of us in this class, in this crew who were last week in my constitutional law class, we were looking at the case of Shemima Begum versus the Home Secretary. If you are a student of constitutional law, we just did it last week. Shemima Begum was a British citizen of Bangladeshi origin. Got online, people tell boyfriend. It turned out that the man was a member of ISIS. Is that not a terrorist organization? And the individual said, I will marry you. Come and join ISIS. Help us to do suicide bombing. She married him, left Britain, and went to Syria. After some years, the man had married as many women as possible as a Muslim fundamentalist. She decided to come back to Britain, where she had also orchestrated a suicide bombing on a train. The UK secretary made sure that her British citizenship was revoked. That is how a woman can support a man to endanger the nation. Now I'm going to look at what we are going to do. Supporting what Prof has already said, most of them, she has said it in her recommendation. We need a lot of awareness, starting with this one. Female to female violence is a problem. Let's not kill ourselves. Why fighting that another person should not kill us? We have training and capacity building. It is needed, especially with the Nigerian police. The playlet by the student union showed that even the police and the parents did not agree or believe the victim. So a lot of gender training needs to be done. We need to have support system. Prof has stated something about having safe houses under the VAP Act, and of course the sexual offenders register. We need to monitor legal reforms. there's a lot of laws going on in Nigeria. One of them is the Older Persons Rights Bill 2021. It has not been passed. There are a lot of gender issues in it that the Center for Gender Studies is interested in the passing of that bill in the National Assembly. Collaboration with stakeholders, as we have done today. I want to thank FIDA. I want to thank FAWEN. I want to thank WITED. I want to thank FEPNOA. I want to thank the rector. I want to thank VP SUG. And I want to thank all the members of the Polytechnic. We are collaborating to see how we can fight this. Thank you very much. This lecture is going to be available in soft copy in your phones. Thank you.
Another round of applause for that beautiful lecture. I'm sure you have learned enough. You've learned a lot from Dr. Barrister Edie. Please, can you jam those hands together again for her?
Thank you very much. Please, our visitors, International Federation of Women Lawyers, beg to take their leave. They are going to have a free clinic for indigent women right now as part of the International Women's Day. So as part of the International Women's Day, they need to go there to meet the poor women that need legal assistance. Please, a round of applause as they stand up. A round of applause as they stand up and go for their clinics. Thank you.
Yeah, they said today is their clinic. So if you can meet them at their clinic, please, you didn't give us location. Tuesdays and Thursdays, where? At FIDA Clinic. Okay, at MCC Road. Okay, if you're ready, you can contact Dr. E.T. to give you their location. You can meet them there. Thank you very much, and I'm sure you have questions. Please, if you have questions, we need questions from the students, from staff. Ask now, please. If you have questions, just put up your hand. We'll call you, or you can put it down. They'll give you responses, please. Any question? Any question? Or is there any clarification, something you want them to clarify you on, please? Sorry, sir. How is you?
As our visitors are leaving, I want to thank them for coming close to us today and staying with us. Thank you so much, man. Yes, please clap for them. It is not easy. They have identified with us and we are grateful. Not everybody should be leaving now because we will soon be closing. Just hold on, we'll soon be closing. We're not going to take any questions because a lot of questions have been asked and answered. So if you have any other question, you should ask. When you get the soft copy, we will give you a WhatsApp number that you can ask your questions and get your answers. But you're going to get a soft copy. We make sure it reaches everybody. Thank you. Finally, I hope you are having your refreshments. Are you? Very good. So clap for us now. Where is Amaka Begwas? Ijoma Ibe. Please come and give us a vote of thanks. Dr. Mrs. Ijoma Ibe.
Hello, everyone. Hello. We are so, we've been properly entertained, especially with the last lecture. The two lectures were just good. So we are grateful to God. I want to thank the organizers, Center for Women's Studies, Fawen, Fepnowa, it's actually like a conglomeration of people that came together, and it's been a successful one. It's a successful outing. I want to thank our rector who gave the permission and the wherewithal and enabling environment to do all this. Our rector and management, we thank you. Thanks to the polytechnic community that came, because indeed, if you call for such and nobody responds, is to be disastrous. So we are thankful for the female community that responded, and to the student body too that responded. We are grateful. We are grateful really to everyone. Please, we thank God for giving us a clement weather and for providing light and all that so that this place is not too hot. We are grateful for the entertainment too. We are grateful to those who have put this together. Thank God for every one of us. Thank you, Chairman, for the occasion. Thank you.
As you rise for us to pray, I call on Dr. Mrs. Raymonda Obioha. Dr. Mrs. Raymonda Obioha to give us the closing prayers.
You are the Lord. Let your name be glorified in our life. You are the Lord. Let your name be glorified. Glory. No, no. You are let your name be glorified. We pray in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Come, Holy Ghost, fill the hearts of the faithful. And send forth the Spirit, and they shall be created. Our God and our Father, mighty man in battle, ancient of days, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God. We thank you for a bright new day. We thank you for the lectures that we had. We thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And we say, may now all glory, all adoration shall be bestowed unto you in the mighty name of Jesus. And as we are going back to our respective offices and classroom, that God in his infinite mercy will continue to be with us in our going out and coming in now and forevermore. May we depart in peace in Jesus' name. Amen.
Good boy. We stick it in the catch the song from my teeth. It's open for the day. I'm a quick body, not a breathing food. I mix and that tea. I am not a mix fast and free. Even a bit like a la la la. Even a bit like the push. Oh my joke. You go. You go. You want to go to. You go. When you want to go. And even like the push. Odupa, Olua, Olua, yeah, Lord, go, Lord, go. Odupa, Olua, yeah, Lord, go. When you lift the Lord, you Super, one, eh. Joy, super, one, eh. Joy, story. When you link the boy, you open never. Watch it when I do it. I want to know what good. Do me tender. Okay, the body will learn. I want to put you will learn. Yeah, it can have been sticky in teeth. Some cruise my teeth. Miss Bokon for the days. Como put body no